hope it's recording on the computer, the audio. If not, I guess you are the lucky one that gets to be on, but that's good because all the questions were your questions, so I'm super excited. Let me pull up the questions. Let me hurry and tell everybody it's starting here. Okay, so Q&A. Why is this? Wait, oh, where are your questions at? Telling you, higher quality problems. I can't even find it. I was just there. I literally was just there, and I'm not. July. Discussion, are you seeing it? That's so weird because it was, maybe it's in the regular page. I'm telling you. Oh, right here. It's on the regular page. Got it. Awesome. Okay, so let's start. So I know that Felicia had a question too. I don't think she is currently on. I'll just type that, but and so I'm not sure exactly what she was talking about with her question, because it was like, since I couldn't find my notes about what we talked about yesterday, can you briefly go over that? I'm not sure what me and her talked about, whatever day yesterday was, so I'll wait and see if she comes on. If she comes on, we'll go over that. If not, not a big deal. So let's talk about how do I know, and this is going to be great for anybody that's watching the replay, because these are really good questions when you're really deciding when you're following your intuition and when you are following logic, or when you're following something that you think is a good idea, or how do you know if it's a good idea, or something like that. So all of your questions kind of go hand in hand. So I'm just going to read through all of them for those that are watching the replay and can kind of have a context. But how do I know if I'm doing what is good for me and what I need, or if I'm avoiding or wussing out? For more clarity, I want to figure out how to relax a bit and let go of perfection without letting too much go and just falling off the wagon. You always say to say yes to every opportunity, but do you ever get opportunities that don't feel right and say no? So I'm going to start with the last question because I'm going to want a little bit more clarification on the other two questions. But as far as like, are there opportunities that come up that I don't say yes to? Absolutely, all the time. If like, every day people write me, hey, do you want to come join my business? Blah, 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 blah. You know, those spammy messages we get all the time. And so I always get messages or opportunities or people like, hey, can you fly out and speak here, this or that? When I say yes to every opportunity, I mean, say yes to every opportunity that feels good, that you know you're supposed to take. So if something scares me, I say yes if I want to do it. And or if like I'm like, oh, I have to think about it. So I always ask myself, the second someone asks me, hey, do you want to do this? I instantly answer yes or no. I'm not like, oh, I got to think about it, this or that, because our soul already has the answer. It literally, our soul figures out the answer within the first 3 seconds. And after that, then your brain turns on. And when your brain turns on, that's when hey, Felicia, when your brain turns on, that's when you're no longer making an intuitive decision, you're making a logical decision. Is it logically right for me, or is it not logically right for me? And so there's all the time that I say no to opportunities if I instantly know it's not right. So for instance, if someone asked me to speak at the Christian, there's some Christian conference going on. You know what I'm talking about?
Christians Unite.
Yeah, that one.
They asked, they asked me to speak this weekend, and it's my birthday. I said no.
Yay! I love it. I love it. I instantly got a no. Because as much as I love Christianity, it's not in alignment with me in Utah, because I know it's not really a Christianity conference. And so it puts me in this weird situation where I feel like then I'm debating my religion. I'm not in a religion, but I'm debating religion talks with people. And so I instantly said no, because it didn't feel right. And so all the time, so to answer your question, yes, there's times that the opportunities aren't right for you. If like you just get that sick gut feeling, like, no, it's not for me. It's when you're getting in this negotiation with your brain. That's when you're thinking in your mind and you're not really in your soul. So anytime that your brain is negotiating, well, this would be the pro, this would be the con, this is what I should do, this is what I shouldn't do, then usually what happens is you're so overwhelmed that you're just like, I'm just going to say no. I'm just going to say no. And that wasn't an intuitive no. And so I always say, yes, say no to opportunities that are not in alignment. And I say no all the time to people that I don't feel like it's going to serve me or serve somebody else. And so I always ask myself, is this my give back, or is this something that will benefit me, or is this something that will benefit somebody else? And then if it doesn't align with like my truths right there, then I say no to that. Does that make sense? Awesome. Any follow-up questions with that? Awesome. So then with the other question, like, how do I know if what I'm doing is good for me, and what I need, or if I'm avoiding or wussing out? I always tell people, if you have to think about if you're avoiding or wussing out, you're probably avoiding or wussing out, because you'll just know. And it's really hard because I'm a kinesthetic. But it's like, so I just know. Do you know if you're a kinesthetic, or what are you?
I don't know. Like, do kinesthetics feel like it has to feel right? But it also has to make sense in my brain, but it has to feel right. So I don't know what I am.
So you're like a kinesthetic auditory. Like, you kind of want the logistics of it, but at the same time you're kinesthetic, and ultimately your decision will come down to that. So here's what I would ask you. If you're thinking in your mind, okay, right now, and you don't have to say this out loud, think in your mind of the first, and Felicia, you could do this too, of a decision that like you are thinking of. So for instance, like, how do you know if something's good for me? So think right now, as you're stuck being, what's good for me? Or if you already know what you're like contemplating in your head, like, I'm debating if I should do this, or if I should do this, or if I should do this. I just want you to think of what your stuck is. And as you start to think about your stuck, I want you to really start to think about, like, why, number one, I would first ask yourself, what's the answer, yes or no? But a lot of times people are like, well, I just don't know. I don't know what that answer is. I don't know if I should do it or should I not do it. So this is where I walk myself backwards. I always ask myself, okay, why should I do it? So I always go with the positive route first. Why should I do it? Because I always give everything the benefit of the doubt. You know, what are the beliefs behind that? Does it align with my beliefs? Do they align with my beliefs? Does this opportunity align with my beliefs? And then I always ask myself, okay, how? What is the how being, what is it going to teach me? Is it going to teach me or give me the capabilities? Is it going to, or is it really not going to add any capabilities to what I already am doing? And so then that's where I always start to look at the capabilities of what the opportunity has. So like I said, I always look at the positive first, you know, do the people, who it is, do they align with what I do? Does this event align with what I do? And if instantly the answer is no, awesome. I don't move to the next level. I just say no. But if it does, then I move down to beliefs. Awesome. Does this event, why does it align with my beliefs? Why does it even align with my beliefs? And so I go down to the beliefs. If it checks no, awesome. Then I'm out right there. If it's a yes, then I keep going. Then the next question I ask is, okay, same thing. Like, is it going to teach me capabilities, or is it going to make me lack capabilities? So like I don't really go to motivational seminars anymore, because I know how to motivate myself. I know that I can get there quicker by listening to audiobooks, by listening to podcasts, by listening to YouTube. Like, I've trained my brain to instantly go there. So for me, a motivational seminar isn't really my like forte, but because it's not really teaching me any more capabilities. And so I would say yes or no there. The next one I go into is behaviors. So what behavior is it going to change in me? So for me, I'm always looking for strategy. Am I going to learn a new strategy? Am I going to learn a new behavior? Am I going to learn how to walk and talk and hang out with millionaires? Am I gonna really, and that's gonna go more into environment, but behaviors is like, is this opportunity going to change a behavior to get me different results? For instance, I will always go to marriage seminars because I feel like marriages always need work. So for me, I love marriage seminars. So I'm always going to go to marriage seminars. I'm always going to go to business seminars. I shouldn't say always because you never know what could change, but I always go dive in deep to the what behavior is going to change, because we know that our thoughts create an emotion. Our emotion creates a behavior, and our behaviors create a result. So I always am thinking, what are the capabilities? What is the beliefs? What is the identity that lies within that thing? And then the last one is environment. Is it an environment that I'm okay with? And that's my last checklist. And I go through this checklist in my mind. Okay, like I said, the Christian conference. Does that environment lie within what I want to surround myself with? And it's not that it's bad or good. Like it could be the most amazing thing for someone else, but is it a good environment for me? And am I a good thing to place into that environment or not? And so that's where you get to decide is, am I a good add-in to that environment? And is that environment a good add-on in for me? And so as I start to process what things are good for me and what things are not, that's kind of how I know, because if all of those are yeses, there's no reason that's where I would be like, oh, okay, those are all yeses. They all line up with everything. And now I'm trying to think of the details behind it. And it's in the details that we get lost into the no's. Because if like everything checks off, but then you're still like a no, then I'd say, is it a brain no? Like, is it a money no? Like, I can't afford it. Like all your typical excuses, I don't have the time, blah, 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 blah. Or is it really a no? And this is really good to know as you guys start speaking on stages and doing vendor booths and all these different things, really knowing what aligns within those categories, because it's going to help you quickly make a quick decision. Because the higher up you get in situations, number one, if we are sitting there with we had this opportunity at the LA event of this guy had 4 tickets to work with him one-on-one for $30,000. And me and Elise are like, we're doing it. We didn't, because it felt right. And then after, we're thinking, well, now we get to go create $30,000. Like, how are we going to do it? What are we going to do? We're still buying out Aaron. All these different things that are happening. Because if we would have thought about all that stuff beforehand, we would have probably said no, because it could look overwhelming. And so I always say, okay, yes, no, here's the opportunity. We're going to work with them. Awesome. And then once we made that decision, it's all lined up perfectly. And just this last week, just myself, I've sold like $7,000 for FEE. And so it's like all of these different things align up because I'm following my intuition and I'm going with it. And it's also blessing so many other people, because we're willing to do massive discounts at this point. And so you have to think about, it's not that, oh, we're just being greedy and we're having to sell all this stuff. It's no, because we have these goals and these things, then it blesses everybody else too. And so we always think I always just think like, it's kind of a hard question to answer of like, are you avoiding or missing out? Like, really, I believe that like people have that answer if they really think about it. But if you really go through like if you're really thinking, no, I really don't know. Like I have a client right now, like she's just always like, I don't know. Like I could ask her any question. I don't know. And if you're that type of person, that's where you get to go through the identity, the beliefs, the capabilities, the behaviors, and the environment, and check all of that off, which is the who, why, what, how, where. Like, who do you want to be? Why do you want to be that? How do you get there? What does that look like? And like, where do you go to become that? You're good. We're just glad you're here, Holly. And so that's what I would say with that question. Does that bring up anything else that's processing in your mind, Brittany? Awesome. I love it. You're easy today. So then going into, I swore there was a different one. I want to figure out how to relax a bit and let go of perfection without letting too much go and just falling off the wagon. So kind of elaborate your fears around that. The emotion I'm feeling around that is a fear.
Yeah, it is a fear. It's that I have to do everything perfect, and that if I sleep in one morning and don't get my stuff done, like everything's gonna fall apart. And I wish I could remember exactly what I was thinking when I posted that, but I'm already doing better with this already. So I'm trying to think what it was that just expecting perfection out of myself, and understanding what is like, even though this isn't perfect, this is good enough. You know, you did good, you did what you needed to, without relaxing so much that I'm not doing enough. Does that make sense?
So if I ask you, what are you not being perfect at, what's the answer?
Doing everything in my business.
Okay, so going from there, what's everything you're not doing?
You're like opening a Pandora's box here, Nicole. Like the things that come to mind are like organization, like my daily, like what should I be doing daily, and marketing and sales and my branding and all the things.
Okay. What do you want to be doing in your business?
I don't know, Nicole.
So here's why I bring this up, and I want you to think about it and create an answer, because here's the thing that a lot of people do, is they look at someone and they're like, oh, well, I should just be doing this because everybody else is doing it. And here's the way that your brain works. You either run towards something or you run away from something. And so in your mind, you're thinking, well, I have to do organization, marketing, sales, branding, like I have to do all this stuff. But I don't believe it's what you want to be doing. So instead of running towards it, you're running away from it because you're not doing anything that you want to be doing. And so what do you want to be doing in your business? If you could scratch away all marketing, sales, branding, organization, what's left?
I want to be working with the women. I want to be doing things that help them. And that I just love working with the people, but I got to do all the other stuff behind that to get the people in.
Says who?
What's that?
Says who?
Says my brain when I watch you doing your stuff. And what's your name down there? Talisha. Your name's right there, and I can't think of your name.
Okay, do you want to know what me and Talisha do? Do you want to know what me and Talisha do? Is, yes, we show up on social media because we end up finding people we connect with. But the reason we do what we do is because we go to events, we hang out with business people, we do what we love first. And she works with her one-on-one clients. She'll tell me all the time, because she's a client, she'll say, I'm done with social media. I don't want to do it, blah, blah. And I say, awesome. Just go do sessions then. You have to do what you want to do first, and then it motivates you to do the other stuff. People think that motivation creates action, but action is what actually creates motivation. And so if you start taking action in what you want to do, then you get motivated to do the things like, then you get motivated to want to sell because you're now with people in person. And I think that you love the in-person setting just like I do, but you're trying to do both in person and online, which is perfectly great. It's fine. I do it. But you'll notice I stepped a lot away from my group a lot because they weren't interacting. They're not like, I'm this close in even this group to just being like, hey, whoever pays the $15 a month, they can stay, and whoever doesn't, whether they're clients or not, then they can leave, because people aren't valuing it. And you guys are on here, a lot, so you see the value that's on here. And so I could be spending this amount of time doing like in-person trainings with what I love to do. But because like my mind could be like, oh, well, they're just going to think that like I gave up on it and blah, 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 and all this stuff. Like you start to worry what people think. And so I would ask yourself, why are you not doing what you want to do, and who are you trying to impress? Because if you're trying to impress someone like me, I would tell you, go do more of what you want to do. And because if you're leaning towards a path of something you don't want to do, you're not going to be motivated to do it. So if you love speaking on stages, here's your next battle. Is not speaking on stages, but it's like, am I willing to travel to speak on stages? So the problems never go away. Am I willing to pay to speak on stages? Am I willing to do this? And so it's a whole new set of problems. And so know that the problems never go away. And so you're looking to fix these problems over here in something you're not even enjoying doing, when really you could grow your business over here, do what you love, then either hire out for these problems over here, or you could just be doing over here and have your whole new set of problems. Do you know what I mean? And I think if it was something like, oh, I'm doing this in person something, you would want to post it online. If you were speaking somewhere on stages, I see you right now posting all sorts of stuff at that event you're going to next, because you like it, because you want it, and you've naturally posted about it. It's when you're fighting the system and you're like fighting the resistance, instead of listening to the resistance. You're trying to do what everybody else trains you to do, versus, which is why I love like personalized mentoring, because when I was mentoring you and I was mentoring Talisha, you both were doing two completely different things because you have two completely different goals. Talisha loves chatbots. She loves doing in-person, like sessions. She rocks discovery calls. So she did discovery call after discovery call after discovery call. That was her strategy. And so know that even mine and like Elisa's strategy, completely different. She loves like that one-time $30,000 package. I love gathering all the little money that's like missing, like the $97, the $297, the $497. That's why my price points are typically where they're at, because I like that. And so know that you're never going to be the same as somebody else. You get to create your own little package. Does that help?
Yeah, that helps. I just took a whole bunch of notes.
I love it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Does that bring up any questions within anybody else with that question? No? Okay. So Talisha, I think I should have read this a while ago, but it says, since I couldn't find my info in my notes, can we talk about what we talked about briefly yesterday? So I have no idea what you're talking about. So if you remember, just remind me.
I do. So it was kind of like that sales thing that was similar to a discovery call, but not a discovery call as far as like if you were doing a group call for it. Is that ringing a bell?
No.
As far as like you do the introduction, like who you are, why you're important, that kind of funnel thing.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, like a sales script.
Yes. Yeah. So similar to the discovery call, but not for a discovery call, but for like a group.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Hold on one second. Let me see. I think that was in my present yourself class. I wonder where it's at. Present yourself. I know what you're talking about, and I can go over it no matter what, because I know what it's talking about. But if you're looking for the specific script, I'm gonna have to go and find it. I think it's called basic presentation, maybe. I'm trying to find it. So sorry, bear with me for just 2 seconds. I know I have it here. I'll just go over what I do off the top of my head, but I can find the actual script. I just wish I could. Oh, right here, maybe. Okay, found it. Got it. Nope, I lied. That's not it. So, yeah, I won't waste your time because it will take a minute for me to find. But what I will tell you is it's going to be about the same. So what you're going to do is you're going to get on say you're on a training and you're trying to sell something, you're going to build, okay, you're going to find the problem. So you're going to say, okay, is it all right if I share with you something that I have found is a problem? And so as you're sharing this problem, and I'll find that script, just remind me, and I'll for sure find the script, but this is what I just do off the top of my head. So can I share with you a problem? I noticed this problem that a lot of people, I don't know, lately I've been working with a ton of network marketers. So I could be like, a ton of network marketers are not getting the results they want because they're listening to their upline. Now, let me explain a little bit more. So you're stating the problem, and then you're asking permission for you to explain a little bit more. And you're going to say, you're going to talk about the problem. The reason that they're not getting any sales is because like their upline, they got there like 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. That stuff just doesn't work anymore. It's like door-to-door salesman. You know, that strategy doesn't work anymore. Just like discovery calls are working right now, but they're not probably going to work in 6 months from now. And so you have to stay up with time. And so what I've created is this 4-week course for network marketers where you're going to learn the up-to-date sales strategies. You're going to learn, so this is where you start to talk about the details of what they'll learn in the program. You're going to learn about the up-to-date sales strategies. You're going to learn about how to sell yourself versus your product. You're going to learn about branding, so you're not just posting your products everywhere. You're going to learn about collaboration and connections, blah, 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 whatever it is. I would post about the details and explain what they'll learn. And then what you say is then you have to express your credibility. The reason I started teaching this, and this is where I usually go into, my whole business started with network marketers. I moved to Vegas, and I kind of tell a little bit of story here. I moved to Vegas. Juice Plus came to me and saw what I was doing, and they said, would you train our company on like mindset? And that's where Meet Your Destiny started. It was actually a 4-week course for Juice Plus people. So I was like, okay, awesome, blah, blah, blah. And I had no idea what I was going to do, but I created a 4-week course, and they ended up getting massive results. Within 5 weeks, this is where I would give a little bit of testimonials. Within 5 weeks, a woman had bought a $5 million ranch. Another woman had deposited $95,000 into her account. Like my first Meet Your Destiny class was probably the biggest testimony ever because I didn't know what I was doing. I was going off intuition. And so of course you get the best results. And so, then I go into my testimonials, and then that's where I would go into like kind of your discovery call script. I'd say, so if you struggle with this, this would be very beneficial, very beneficial. Who this is not for is people that they're in network marketing, but they don't even want the business. They signed up for the products as a discount. They didn't sign up for the business. It's not for you. So I would go into that, who it's not for and who it is for. And then that's where I'd go into the incentive-based pricing, where I'd say, awesome. So for this course, it's typically $1,000. But because you showed up on this training today, I always do incentive-based pricing. You've seen me do this a million times. I always do incentive-based pricing. If you sign up within the next 24 hours, you get this. And I would go over what they get. You get this, 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 or this. Also, for anybody that signs up right this second, I'm going to add on a free hour personal mentoring session. So then I add a bonus for an extra incentive. And then after that, I would probably say I go back into a few more testimonials. So this is my testimonials that I've got here, blah, 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 this or that. So if this is something you want to sign up for, let me know. And then we play the shut up game, like we talked in the sales one that we did. You just shut up. You say the price and you shut up. And then that's where I leave it. I don't say, does anybody have any questions? I don't say any like that. Like I end it on the sell so that it doesn't divert the conversation elsewhere. Does that make sense? And I'll find my exact script. That one's a little tweaked. It's kind of, but that's how you would mesh a discovery call script. And this is you're mainly just talking about what problem that you saw what it's going to solve, what they're going to kind of leave with, your credibility, why you can teach this, where you tell your story, and then you lead it into the different cells. Does that make sense? Awesome. And then you have a whole class booked full of people, and it's amazing. So any other questions when it comes to like cells or scripts or anything like that? I know we did a training on it, but if you guys have any questions around that, like especially this would be really good, and I don't know if Sarah's on, but I know she's listening. This would be really good for your sponsorship course. And really utilizing the title you have with the Miss Female Entrepreneur, both of you, because you both are, you know, you're both in it, really utilizing that title and being like, you know, this is like my story. This is why I created sponsorships, because I realized that I was rocking sponsorships and all these other ladies were just not doing well. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's so easy, you guys. And so I felt so called to help people out. So I think, I just felt so called that it would help these women out, because that's kind of why Sarah started it, because she's like, I feel like no one knows how to get sponsorships, and it's so easy. It's like my gift. And so that would be her story, and I would still tie in that title so that she has that credibility. She's not just a regular mom throwing this thing together. Like, her retreat is high end. Like I told her, like, I don't think I've been to a retreat that's this high end, with this high end of sponsorships that are going to be there. And so it's like really just understanding your gifts, and they might not seem like a gift to you, but they are a gift to other people. And so that's what I would say. Any questions? No questions. Awesome. Okay, so I could keep rambling, and I feel like I could get off at the same time because there was no other questions, but I know you guys wouldn't love that. So right now, write down like or type in, and whoever types in first, I'll just go with that question. Like, if you had to ask a question, what would the question be? Any question. It could be business, it could be mindset, it could be anything. If you had to ask me a question, what would it be? I see Talisha typing. You can unmute yourself too. You don't have to type. How to stay focused, but also create. So this is where it goes into the call that me and Elisa had on the 2-for-1. I think you were on there, is really getting down to how do you stay focused but create, is I give myself massive timelines. So like we talked about, for those of you that are not in for the 2-for-1 with me and Elisa, you have to know what you're creating, what you're executing, and what you're selling. Every single month, like you should create a whole marketing plan, January, February, March, April, May, June. And every month you're gonna have what you're creating, what you're executing, and what you're selling. And so when we're entrepreneurs, we get really stuck in creative mode, or we'll get really stuck in, like, not me, I hate branding, but some people could get stuck in branding a graphic for hours. And so we'll get stuck in that creative mode. It's where you have to give yourself a timeline. So I would put in your schedule, here's my hour of creation time. Here's my hour of execution time. Here's my hour of sell time. Whatever it is, maybe it's 10 minutes. You get to create your own schedule. And so what I would say, but once that's up, here's one or two things. You put it down and you can come back to it if you're a perfectionist, or as far as you get is as far as you get, and you're posting it no matter what. And so I always tell people, have different time periods, because for me, I could get sucked into commenting back on people's posts because I love social media. I love social media engagement. I love sales. I could do sales in social media all day long. What I do not like is billing. What I do not like is like pre-creating posts. What I do not like is like doing like discovery calls, like that stuff I don't love, but I know that that's what gets me results. And so I have a list of things that I have to do. And so if I were you and you get stuck in creation mode, I would do all your work first and then reward yourself with the creation mode. If I do this much over here, then I'm going to give myself 2 hours of creation mode, doing whatever I want. And that will really, really help you. She says, I just have had so many ideas and want to do it all like yesterday. Well, and here's the thing that's going to happen is people are going to get really confused on what you offer. Even right now where you're offering like your retreat, but you're also offering your sponsorships, people could get very confused. Like I would not be offering 2 things at once ever. Because it can get very, very lost and confusing for people, unless you're totally targeting in different areas, which is totally fine as well. And so for me, I always just say when I have so many ideas, I have like an idea notebook and I go write them down. And I write down all the stuff that comes to my mind during my journal time. So if I'm like, oh my gosh, I have all, like I'll have just like notebooks and notebooks worth of pages, like even little things like this, like on this random piece of paper, I'm like, ooh, I like this testimony idea, like this testimony script. Before I met blank, I felt like blank. After going through blank, I felt like blank. And then I wrote a little note, tenacity, follow up to 70% of your success. Like I just have these random notes that I write down when thoughts come up and I don't want to lose them. So I put them right here. This is what I have for today. They're sitting over here for when it's time for me to get into that mode. But so I don't lose it, I got out of my head. Because when something comes into your head, you're like, I don't want to lose that idea. Was feeling confused myself with that. What about that? I want to do like 10 retreats in 2019. I would want to offer several at once. How would you address that? You wouldn't. I wouldn't. Unless you end up doing Facebook ads and you were addressing different states or something, I would focus on one at a time. It just means your launch time is going to be a lot shorter. So we have 8 events a year and we only sell 1 at a time. And we have 8 events a year. So really you would just add 2. And ours, we skip like, we do, like we just do like 2 week period, like launch periods. Like right now we're like soft launching our event and our event's in the 2nd week of August and we haven't even fully launched it. So usually we have 2 week launch periods for our event. And so what I would say is never launch 2 things at once, unless you have like business partners and you can use different pages for different things. But people are going to get very, very confused. What you can do is on your website is have upcoming retreat dates. So if you go to our website, it says upcoming events. So people are like, oh, awesome. Like, I don't want this one, but I want to go to this one. They can automatically opt into a different event. You're just not launching it on social media, if that makes sense. It's kind of like you wouldn't launch 15 products at once because that would really overwhelm people. You only want to like give them a very small amount of choices because if they are overwhelmed, they won't buy from you because they're like, well, I don't know. I want all of that. For me, like when it comes to makeup, I'm like, I don't know. Do I want a primer or concealer? I don't know. You just tell me. I don't know what would be best. Like, and I get so overwhelmed when there's too many choices. It's like, just tell me what the package comes with, make it up. I don't care. I don't want a million choices. I want to be able to maybe pick my color. Maybe I want to pick my scent, but I don't care about because I don't understand. I'm not educated. I don't know the difference between foundation and concealer and bronzer and all these different things. You just tell me what to buy, show me how to use it, and I'll do it. And if I like it, I'll continue to buy it. And that's why I always tell you is people don't buy the retreat. People don't buy your product. People buy the experience. If it's easy for me to use, like I barely started to use like bronzer and like little shimmers and stuff because somebody sat down and just showed me how to use it. They didn't send me a video. They didn't because I've had people send me videos and pictures of where to put things. It overwhelms me. I want you to sit down and show me how to use it. And so I did, and I bought $200 worth of makeup from the girl that sat down and showed me how to use it. And I've had a million people offer me this stuff. And so you just have to figure out like, what is it that's going to get people to my retreat and not overwhelm them with a million options? You just tell them this is what the package includes. Here's the date, show up. Then you get to the next retreat. Here's what it includes. Here's the date, show up. Because if people are like, well, I can buy in, like we have a lunch and stuff, but there's some events it's like you can add this add-on and this add-on and this add-on. And when we went to the LA event, there were so many offers there. We were like, I want them all, but I don't know which one's the best because they offered 10 different things. So then nobody, because we sat down and talked to the like owners after, and they said they had 7 sales at a $150,000 event that they put on. They got 7 sales because they let too many people offer on their stage and it overwhelmed people. Does that make sense? Any questions? No questions. Awesome. Okay, anybody else have a question they want to ask? This is all your time. Go for it, Felicia.
Thank you. So I'm just thinking ahead about what we talked about in the call this morning. And so what are like maybe like 1 to 2 areas that I can touch into the different areas, not the kinesthetics, but like maybe the auditories, and I don't remember the other one, but what are like your top ways?
So was it in the last building your destiny or the last one we went over different languages? Were you in that call?
I don't think so. I must have missed it.
Okay, I don't remember where it was. It could have been anywhere. I don't know what training it was, but so I have a whole list here. So let me pull it out because, like I said, it's something that I'm not really. I've known how to do it for a while, but I'm learning really in depth. Like I literally, you guys, this training I'm in is so hard. So when it comes to selling, so bear with me as I kind of follow my own notes. But you're really thinking about kinesthetics. Remember, you're selling them the emotion. And so when you're selling somebody the emotion, you're going to talk about words like exciting, easy, like what is it that you particularly want to sell, and it'll be easier.
I think right now my focus has been on my membership package because it's the newest thing I've created.
So you're going to use words like this membership package is for those that feel so overwhelmed with, and this is for kinesthetics, with energy work. It's super flexible. You can come and go as you please. I don't remember what it all includes, so I'm just going with it. And so you want to use words like, so you want to take advantage of this ASAP because you're going to miss out. Like, do you see how it's like all these feelings that you're talking about? But when you're talking to a visual, you're going to paint the picture. So like your quiz, like I said, was spot on for a visual and for kinesthetic because of the questions that were answered. And so with visuals, you're going to talk about the picture, such as, can you just see when you're so wealthy? Or you're going to use words like positive and these are all just reads of them, like status, up to date, if you want to be up to date, because they think in a very orderly way of like, I want to be able to see it. If you want step-by-step action steps, if you want to be growth-oriented, you're going to use all these different things. You're going to say, I will show you how. So visuals so you're a visual, so I always have to tell you, I always have to say, Voxer me if you have questions and I will show you how to do it. I will walk you step by step because I know the second we get off our mentor call, you're thinking, that was a lot of information, but I'm a perfectionist and now I want to know exactly how to do it exactly right. And really, in all reality, there is no right, but in your mind, there is a right. And your right is I want to do it exactly as Nicole would do it. So I just have to tell you exactly script by script how I do things, which is why you do really well in discovery calls, because it's all scripted out for you. And so you do really well with like show and tell. So when you talk to visuals, that's what they like. They want to see the visual of how did I step by step get from here to here. So when you're speaking on stage, you're going to want to spend some time saying like, imagine the possibilities, keep your eye on the goal, because they can see, they can visualize, they can close their eyes and they can think exactly what like a beach looks like. Like I can't visualize anything. Like I close my eyes and someone tells me to visualize and my mind goes blank. Like I cannot see like colors or things. And this will be really good in your work too, because like when people do sessions with you, you need to know if they can see things.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? When I worked with you, like I could picture what it felt like, which is why I said, oh, it feels like sharp edges right here. I think and that's why I said, I think it looks like this, because I couldn't visualize it. And you do a lot of visualizing. So then you just use the words, if someone's like, well, I just can't see it. I can't see what I look. I remember Faye saying, I just can't see, when I worked with her, I couldn't see my spiritual self, but she could feel it. So then you'd say, well, awesome. What does it feel like to you? And then you can, if you want them to start to visualize it, okay, awesome. well, just put a color to it. What color do you feel like it is? And so do you see how it's like, it's a lot different? Like if Holly was to sell her like face cream, she needs to be like, to people that are very kinesthetic, instead of asking like, oh, what scent do you like? She should probably ask, what feel do you like to your lotion? Do you like the silky feel? Do you like the like creamier feel? Because for me, I don't really care about the scent. I care if it's like scented like chemicals, but I don't really care about the smell of it. I care about how it feels. Like I don't like silkiness. You know what I mean? And so like that's why I love like for 911 like facial cream, because it just feels so good. I don't care. It does smell yummy too, but I don't really care about that. I just care that it doesn't feel greasy on my skin and I can put my makeup over it. And so I care about the feel of it. And so your auditories, they want to know that they're secure. They want to know that it's a guarantee. They're like kind of like your facts person. They want to know, okay, well, you know, they're going to be like maybe your religious people that are like, well, how is it? You show me that where it's okay to practice like Reiki. You show me how that aligns. Or I want to guarantee that I'll get results. So you're going to use words like, I guarantee you're going to leave this membership a different person. If you play it 100%, obviously you got to throw that stuff in there. They want to know the value. So you're going to say there's so much value added. They almost are the ones that they're the penny pinchers and they want to get the more bang for their buck. They're the ones that they're like, I'm going to not pay very much for something that's I don't work with very many auditory people, but they're like your budget people. They're the people that are like, they want to know that it's like, it either has to have like a mission behind it that they believe, like for instance, like that it's economical or these things, but they want to, yeah, I don't know. I don't get auditories. I'm still trying to understand them. I think of them as like, so this sentence, this product and service has been recommended by, because then you're giving it like an expert thing. Let me tell you how this product compares to blah, 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 blah. You can call the tune. So you have a say. You get to say what you get to lead it. Auditories also, they like obviously like audible books, stuff like that. I am so not an auditory at all. And I don't like to work with auditories, so I don't speak to auditories. But if you were to speak to them, that's how you speak to them. The auditories are the ones that are going to debate you the most. A lot of men are auditories. A lot of men that I have worked with are auditories. So a lot of men will be like, well, like, prove it to me type attitude. You know what I mean? Prove it to me, or I have to, and so auditories also usually have a very high second visual, but not all the time. So does that help?
Yes, that helps very much. So is there just the three, the auditory, the kinesthetic, and the visual?
No, there's a lot more, but
okay.
Those are the main ones you're going to work with.
Okay,
so
perfect.
There's a lot of, and I think if you go back and watch the last training, I went over the 7 different learning patterns. Okay. And those are going to be a lot of it, because yeah, there's a lot more than just those 3, but those are the 3 main ones. And there's different, like, we could even go into different like ways that they look, like postures, like right here, literally how they breathe. Like you could go into so much detail, like a visual, they're going to breathe high in their chest. An auditory is going to full range breathe. Like, so there's so much that goes into this that their posture, a visual is like straight, like straight-headed, shoulders up, like great posture, like looks good. You know what I mean? An auditory has like the telephone type posture, like, you know how they're always leaning to the side, or like, they stand with their arms crossed off because they're usually protecting themselves often. So they close off, their arms are closed a lot. Kinesthetics, they have very bowed heads. They'll have a lot of neck and shoulder pain because they kind of punch in. And especially when you're talking about information, because they're just going inward and thinking about things. And so, so there's so much more we could go into this. If it's something you guys are interested in, I can do it in the next training. But overall, I think that that's a lot of good information. right there. I could go on for hours about it. I'm seriously so fascinated with this stuff. It's beyond what I even thought it would be. And it's really cool to see people sell from stage that understand, pretty much it's hypnosis, that understand hypnosis. And so, oh yeah, Holly's like, I'm an auditory. Totally is an auditory. I feel like you're a visual too, but totally an auditory. And so, yeah, it's really cool to see people sell from stage because you really could use this to manipulate people. Most people don't, but you really could. Like I saw a guy, and this wasn't in a bad intention because it's something good, but it a lot quicker gets you to get past people's beliefs about what they think, and you don't have to deal with all the excuses. And he sold a lady on the spot, had her stand up in stage and sold her on $20,000 on the spot within the first 5 minutes of the event. And it's because he understands how to talk to the true self versus talking to all the filters that go on. So like when I always talk in Finance Your Destiny about all the filters, it's like I train people how to get through their own filters, but now I get to learn how to just quickly sell to someone with talking to their soul versus even going to their mind and having to deconstruct and reconstruct all the beliefs that they have. You know what I mean? And so pros and cons to both. It's a lot of information, a lot of hours of learning, but it's good. I'm excited. Any other questions before we hop off? Awesome. I don't see anyone popping up. So what I would say is, like, as you guys focus, definitely let me know if this is something more you want to go into to the next training when we actually train versus the Q&A. But really start to focus on your communication. If you go back and watch all the other trainings about rapport, about sales, about stuff, like there's so much information in that membership right now as far as like creating you a whole entire strategy and building rapport with people. You will be able to go make lots and lots of money this week. So I love the questions today. They were amazing. I loved it. And I love that they're like in alignment with everything I'm learning right now. So it helps me gain even more practice. So you guys get to be my little guinea pigs, but I love it. It's amazing. You guys are fantastic, and I will talk to you guys later.